In fact, I was talking to a guy at a health fair not too long ago, and he works with kids in a weight loss program. And I saw one of the little magnets that they give out to the kids was the old food pyramid. And he was talking about a diet which we're going to talk about called the Paleolithic diet. And I go, that's awesome. You know, we try to stick to that too. And I said, do you do it? Yeah. I go, what about the food pyramid that you're teaching to the kids? He goes, it's my job, I have to. Like, what comes to the point where you go, ethically, I can't do this anymore? He goes, I know it's not benefiting them. He's like, but what I do is I keep them exercising and try to tell them, you know, but he's like, the nutritionist I work for, she said, push the food pyramid, push the food pyramid. You know, and who, you know, recommends that? You know, it's FDA who did a study, and they said kids should have 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, and they actually said about 40% of kids get it. And I'm like, wow, 40% of kids get at least 5 fruits and vegetables a day? Well, they give credit if the kids ate French fries and used ketchup. That's not fruits and vegetables, you know? Yeah, we're talking about real fruits and vegetables, you know, the unadulterated things. Do you have a question?
Well, I was just noticing breakfast can be skipped, you know, the most important meal of the day.
Yeah. You know, physiologically, your body is really designed kind of like later in the day to really use foods. But not like, hey, between 10 at night and 4 in the morning, let's eat. But kind of later in the day. So if you're going to do 2 meals a day, you know, or what works for you. You know, I love breakfast, so I'm not going to skip it. I'm an energy person. I need that. So those are some good nutrition rules. The microwave, throw it out. Yeah, you know, from time to time, if you know you got to reheat something, but that shouldn't be your main way of how you actually cook your food. Even like the steam and bag things in the microwave, you're just bombarding it with these microwaves, which aren't good. So you're going to alter the you know, the contents of what's in there. Now this is the big one here. Maybe you've seen this before. I talk about it quite a bit. Years ago it was cholesterol. Cholesterol is the big killer. Well, you know, we can have a discussion about this, but it's kind of been said it's a cholesterol hoax, so to speak. Now the big one is, what's the role of inflammation in disease processes in the body? So we're going to look at what's the kind of the main sources of why your body would have inflammation. Well, if there's tissue damage, we use this as an example here. Tissue damage. You're out playing basketball, you roll your ankle, sprain it pretty bad. All of a sudden, what happens? Well, your body just detected that there was damage to the tissues. If you have subluxation, misalignment to your spine, there's tissue damage. So your body says, okay, we're going to start releasing all sorts of chemical compounds to that area. Some of that stuff is going to cause redness, swelling, there's broken blood vessels. Toxins and other swelling is going to irritate the nearby nerves. It's going to be painful and sore. But this is how we're actually going to heal this area. We're actually going to lay down some, with these proteins and all, we're going to lay down this like matrix so all this stuff doesn't spread further. So your body goes, okay, inflammation, we need to heal. So a little bit of inflammation, that's part of the healing process. If you didn't have it, then healing gets significantly delayed. What we don't want is continued inflammation. So if you sprain your ankle and then you go, well, let me go sprain it again so I can trigger more inflammation because it's part of healing. No, you want to avoid that continued irritation. Our diet is the same way. It's kind of like what we eat can be causing this amount of inflammation inside of our body. It's not a healthy thing. So what are the big things that cause the inflammation? Well, consumption of corn and products that have corn syrup, etc. Grains, wheat, dairy, soy, soybeans, soybean oil, vegetable, canola oil, glutamate, like in monosodium glutamate. They have more levels of omega-6 fatty acids. Do we need omega-6s? Absolutely. We can't live without them. But we're getting way too many of them. And what that does is it actually triggers the production of more arachidonic acid in the body. And through a series of enzymes, creates prostaglandins, which are chemicals in the inflammation process. So it's an intelligent response for your body to say, we got to handle this. If you continue to eat these things, which your body, A, has trouble breaking down and using, or has omega-6s in it, then it's not a good thing. It's continued inflammation. There's also another enzyme pathway where your body makes glucotrienes, which is another inflammation pathway. And when we do things like take anti-inflammatories, well, your body goes, okay, the anti-inflammatory can cut down this pathway, but your body's so smart, it just ramps up the other pathway. So you continue on this pain and inflammation cycle. Or you take something that blocks this one and the other one gets ramped up. Well, some things that naturally reduce inflammation, resveratrol, which is found in the skin of red grapes. So red wine's good for you, in moderation, of course. Antioxidants, vitamin D3. But one of the most important things is getting enough omega-3 fatty acids. A plant, needs good soil, it needs water, it needs nutrients. Omega-3 fatty acids are like the nutrients to the plant. Your body needs omega-3 fatty acids. Your brain, your nerve system, all the cells of your body held together by those fatty acids. So you need to get them. And they naturally shut down those inflammation pathways. So that's a healthier alternative versus taking anti-inflammatory. But I say, let's go a step further and address what's going on either in your diet, what's causing the damage to your tissues, subluxation in your spine. Let's get at what's causing that and let's alter it. Because most people, our optimal ratio of omega-6s to 3s is like 2 to 1 or 1 to 1. That's what we'll be shooting for. Most Americans, anybody want to guess what that ratio is?
15 to
It's more like 15 to 25 to 1. It's horrible. We just consume way too many of these things. They're filler-in products. It causes inflammation in the gut, especially like the dairy, the wheat, tough for the body to break down, the immune system to attack. So really got to up the omega-3s, lower those omega-6s. And the paleo diet, like I talked about, the healthiest people on the planet, this is what they ate. They're far healthier than we are now, and didn't have all the advances that we do. So they lived back, tens of thousands of years ago. About 65% of what they consume was fruits and vegetables, about 35% animal products. They consume about 3,000 calories a day. They ate no grains. So modern time, they say very limited. If you're going to eat grains, make sure it's whole grain something, but it doesn't have any other things like brominated this and enriched that or the other thing. Because grains, they're just glucose, it's sugar, broken down, stored as fat. They didn't consume any dairy products. Raw dairy, it's good. It's good proteins, good bacteria, good enzymes, all that stuff. Good fats. But modern dairy, pasteurized, homogenized, run through the washer, all that stuff. Cows that are fed this, that, the other thing. It's quite unhealthy. And a lot of added sugar as well. So beneficial sources of protein to our diet: organic chicken, even dark meat for different protein types. Fish, wild, not farmed. Farmed, they don't eat other fish. They're basically fed corn, grains, and just feed on excrement, which is horrible for you. Organic free-range eggs, lean grass-fed red meat, undenatured whey protein, nuts and seeds, even quinoa. People go, isn't that a grain? It's actually called a pseudo-cereal. It doesn't have any gluten in it, but also has loads of fiber, magnesium, iron, phosphorus, and lysine, which is awesome for you. Basically cook it like rice. It's awesome. Carbohydrates, fibrous veggie type. So any type of vegetable you like, hey, eat it. The more colorful, the better. Great things are dark, green leafy veggies, spinach, kale, etc. Apples and grapefruit. In fact, I think it's National Grapefruit Month. Starchy carbohydrates. These are things to do on like weight training days. We're going to be using the muscles. Brown or wild rice, yams, sweet potatoes, bananas.
You should put black rice on there too.
What's that?
You should put black rice on there too.
Yeah, black rice.
It's way better than brown.
Yeah. Doesn't wild rice usually have black in it?
It's got some kind. It's not true black rice. It's got those little reedy type things,
Okay.
but it's not. Yeah.
All right. And what do you want to do? Plan your meals. Just like we'll plan out a vacation. We'll spend months planning a vacation for something that we're going to do for a couple days. We're talking about, here's the rest of our life. Here's this week. Here's today. Here's the next meal. It's just whatever's quick and handy as opposed to what is this going to do as I look towards my future. So plan your meals. 90% of Americans eat processed foods. They lack nutrients. When people, lean cuisine or Take Shape for Life, Weight Watchers, a lot of these are pre-packaged, pre-made meals that lack nutrients and they're processed. They're just loaded with stuff that's not good for you. People can take it and still lose weight, but again, you're restricting those nutrients. Say failing to plan means you're planning to fail. And then spend time in the kitchen. Connect with your food. You're going to consume that stuff. Get connected to it. It's like you spend time with your kids. You connect with them. Much better outcomes with families. You'll spend time with your food. And look at this. This is actually food. What happens to food over time? It's something that's living over time. It decays and dies. So I basically say the quality of food is based on its rotability. The faster it rots, probably the healthier it is. Unless it's something that's like old and rotting right in front of your eyes. But if you look at McDonald's, 631 days. The fries, the burger, nothing happened to it. 631 days. What's it doing inside your body? That's not food. It's food-like. That's not food. Food means it's living. Your body can actually use it. The only thing that this does is go, all right, we're going to settle down the hunger pains. And yeah, maybe we get some sugars here, some fats here, but it's not what your body needs. Did you ever see the movie Super Size Me?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy, what was his first or second meal? He was throwing up. So he couldn't take it. But he's like, this is my plan. I got to keep eating it. And he eventually got to the point where he couldn't survive without the food. He got so addicted to it. He had a chemical addiction to the food. The food-like substances, really. And you see, you get a fatty liver. How much weight did he put on? Like over 30 pounds a month.
And got depressed.
Yeah, depression, sexual dysfunction, all sorts of stuff. Now, most people don't eat 3 meals a day and supersize just about every one of them. But a lot of the other foods, they're processed, kind of like this. So the first step, be more concerned with adding things, not necessarily subtracting, because your body gets used to things. If you just take it away, your body's going to kind of revolt. So take it nice and easy. Start adding more things. Again, what can you commit to? Add those things. I say out of sight, out of mind. What's on the table? If people have a candy dish, maybe you're going to reach for the candy. But if you put the fruits and veggies out there, more likely to grab that as a snack as opposed to just put it in the fridge or in a cabinet. Really important is if you're going to start an exercise program, clean up your diet first, because diet, a lot of inflammation. Exercise creates inflammation in the body. So if you don't clean up your diet, you're exercising, it's inflammation on top of inflammation. Or if you have an unhealthy craving, just eat a piece of fruit or vegetable, have some nuts or seeds along with it. Add something healthy. Most common source of calories in our diet, fructose, easily converted to fat, triggers changes in your brain, may lead to overeating and weight gain. Because of that, metabolism byproducts, uric acid, not a good thing. Too much fructose can lead to cancer growth, kidney, heart, nerve, and colon problems, mineral depletion of the body. And the big one, high fructose corn syrup. It's in so many things. It's horrible for you. 55% of it is fructose. It's found in sodas, ketchup, breads, cereals, juices, all sorts of stuff. And really it's recommended that you get less than 25 grams of fructose a day. I mean, you look at a serving size of some things and it's got 20 grams of fructose. Not good. So a good book is The Fat Switch by Johnson. And then supplements. We're at a time where supplements are necessary. We shouldn't need supplements. Years and years ago, hey, you ate raw fruits and veggies off the land. They weren't sprayed. Animals weren't fed junk. We consumed dirt and the bacteria in that dirt. We ate wild, fish, meat. We ate what we were supposed to. Nowadays, because we just, industrialize everything, there's so many, minerals, enzymes, healthy bacteria, fatty acids that are lacking from things. So I kind of basically we'll say like the core 4 of omega-3 fish oil, an anti-inflammatory level is 2,700 milligrams a day minimum. Probiotics, the healthy bacteria for your gut, which helps you to make vitamins, extract vitamins and other ingredients from foods. In those bacteria, they communicate with the nerves in the cell walls about what's in there and what's passing through. So what do we need to take more of? What do we need to make? What do we need to let go right on through? And it's part of your immune system too. Those healthy bacteria can compete with illness-promoting bacteria. We actually consume about 1 millionth of the bacteria that we should have, as opposed to our ancestors. And the more grains and sugar or antibiotics, stress, alcohol that we have been exposed to or consumed, the more of those healthy bacteria get wiped out over time. A multivitamin, multi-mineral from a whole food source, not synthetic something which was a coal tar derivative, or even nowadays it's still considered a vitamin. If you take vitamins and you feed it to like yeast and other organisms, and then they give off vitamins as a byproduct, you're still allowed to call them vitamins because it came from a natural source. But that's not the way we're really designed to consume vitamins. They're supposed to be from fruits and vegetables. And vitamin D3. Summertime, if we're outside, between 10 and 2 for like at least a half hour, we're probably going to get the amount of vitamin D3 that we need. But 6 months out of the year, fall to winter, early spring, there's not enough UVB rays for our body to actually make enough D3. So it's recommended that adults get 5,000 units a day. Say older adolescents to teens, 2,500, and children about 800 units a day. In order to get you in the normal range, not just to slightly prevent disease and illness, but to get you in that normal range. And then something else which is really good is undenatured whey protein. What whey protein does is it causes your body to make more glutathione, which is a powerful detoxifier. So when we get exposed to a lot of chemicals, processed foods, your body's got have to have a way to get rid of those things. So undenatured whey protein, it's a good source of protein and helps your body in cleansing. And then water. We all know we need water, right? So you want to keep your body hydrated. Get about half of your body weight in ounces of pure clean water a day between water and water-rich foods. So you weigh 160 pounds, you need about 80 ounces of water. If you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, 9 servings, you're going to get water, but pure clean water. Like the sodas and other things, the juices, it's more sugar, it's more calories than what you need. I've told some people, you want to lose weight, you drink soda, 2-3 sodas a day, cut that out. You're going to cut out like 8 to 1,600 calories. Even if you don't do anything else, you're going to lose weight because there's less sugar that your body's storing as fat. And a great thing, a cup of water a half hour before meals. What that does is it actually starts digestion hormones to be produced because your body's going, okay, we're going to eat soon. If you're eating during the meal, you're basically diluting your stomach acid and you're not giving that stimulus to the digestive hormones to
if you're drinking water during the meal. Yeah.
Or if it's during meals, try to sip it as opposed to 3-4 big glasses of water or something else. And just so you know, we don't want an inflamed, acidic environment in our body. This is what studies show. Coffee and sodas do in creating an acidic environment. It creates so much acidity when you have a soda that you need 90 ounces of water to offset that amount of acidity that's created in your body. And for every coffee, you need 64 ounces of water to offset that acidic nature. Otherwise, your body stays in an inflamed state. Cut out diet drinks, caffeine, sugary drinks. And what you eat is processed differently, as opposed to what you drink, so it's not always the same. Quick thing on sugar substitutes. They alter hunger centers of your brain, and they're pretty toxic. They're man-made chemicals. Splenda, which is in sucralose, is a chlorinated sugar, causes liver and kidneys to swell, thymus gland to shrink, 600 times sweeter than sugar. Aspartame, which is found in NutraSweet and Equal, is an excitotoxin. It stresses your liver, causes headaches, dizziness, fibromyalgia, alters mineral balance of the body, decreases cognitive function, 200 times sweeter. Sweet and Low has saccharin, it's 300 to 500 times sweeter. It's tied in with cancers of the uterus, ovary, skin, blood vessels, and other organs in lab rats. It may cause bladder cancer in humans. And then oxasulfate and potassium, or you see, it may say oxasulfate K in the ingredients, commonly found in Cinet, 200 times sweeter, and shown to be carcinogenic, cancer-causing. There's a lot of diet products out there, things that, hey, low fat, low calorie. This is probably what they have in. They're not good for you. And secret 3, you have to exercise to be healthy and to lose weight in a healthy way. If you go to a trainer, you go to a nutrition, you go to someone and they go, you can lose as much weight as you want, it's healthy, you don't even have to exercise. Step 1 is you start running the other way because they don't know what the heck they're talking about. Your body needs movement to stimulate what we're going to talk about, growth hormone, muscle, which is going to burn fat. So you have to exercise. In we can come up with a lot of excuses why not to do something. I'll give you a quick story here. This guy, Dan, he had some sort of, thing going on. He had something on his optic nerve and it was affecting his eyesight. And he went in for surgery. And they actually ended up nicking another nerve in his body, and he was paralyzed from the waist down. And it was pretty rough coming out of the surgery and go, why can't I feel my legs? Why can't I move my body? And I had to explain the story to him. And he said, you know what? I'm not going to let this ruin my life. So this guy, in a wheelchair, 5, 6, 7 times a week, what's he doing? He's exercising. He's like, I'm not going to let this get me down. So I say to people, what's your excuse? Look at what this guy went through. We have use of our body. Let's not make excuses, but what will you commit to? What will you add to doing? This 30-day weight loss study, 3 groups of men aged 18 to 25. They're all fed a bad diet, which is called high-fat, high-sugar diet, 3 meals a day. If they just had the bad diet alone, they gained on average 6 pounds. They had a bad breakfast diet in the morning, and then they exercised, still exercised, but they only gained 3 pounds on average. But if they exercised before the bad breakfast, their weight stayed the same on average, or they lost weight. So exercise is a stimulus for the metabolism to break things down, to build up muscle too. So exercise. Benefits of it, big one here, 60 to 70% of a muscle's energy at rest comes from, anybody know? Comes from fat. Just so the more muscle you have, just while you're resting, the more your body will break down fats for energy. So, want to get more muscle, exercise, increase your metabolism, heart rate, muscle mass. There's a common thing which happens, around maybe 35 to 40 age range. And many people are told, oh, it's normal. Well, it's common during that time because your lifestyle over the course of maybe the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years is kind of catching up with you, where your body does this little kind of slowdown, where your body starts to produce less growth hormone because there isn't the stimulus to make more of it. And that leads to increased visceral and body fat, where you store more fat in around your organs too. Weight gain, decreased energy, decreased muscle mass, decreased fat burning. But if you have more human growth hormone by doing high intensity exercise, it will reverse that. And then consuming sugar or fructose, especially within a couple hours after exercise, actually starts to basically obliterate your process of making human growth hormone. So what you want, like after a workout, is more protein, minimal sugar. Not, hey, I just had this nice sugary sport drink, because you're going to start negating the effects of what you just did. And there's 2 basic types of exercise. There's the aerobic, the anaerobic. I mean, think of aerobic as like the guy that's running on the treadmill. The aerobic is the short sprints or the weightlifting kind of thing. So the question I get is, which one should I do? Yeah, do both. So the common mistake and the common thing out there is, okay, you got to be at the gym 5 days a week, lifting as much weight as you can, doing all these exercises. And that treadmill over there, you're going to be putting on at least an hour a day on that thing. We can really overdo it. An adult, 7 to 9 hours of sleep is optimal. Less than 7, more than 9, you start to lose the benefits of sleep. Even if the doctor says to you, hey, take these pills, these many milligrams for this number of days, you don't take it for long enough, you take it for too long, not the right amount, you don't get the same effects. Exercise can do the same thing. Exercise, you can get the benefits, and then you can actually start to fall off. So you don't need the hour-long treadmill exercise. You don't need the 3 hours at the gym, 5, 6 days a week. It doesn't actually match your physiology. So how do we get greater benefits in less time? High-intensity interval training. It recruits all the different types of muscle fibers you have in your body. Did you know you have different types of muscles? You need to be able to recruit all the different types. So it works your slow twitch, which are those aerobic endurance ones, and also the fast twitch ones, which are going to be the ones that will break down the sugars, break down the fats too. So when you have fast twitch muscles that are stimulated through high intensity interval training, it stimulates human growth hormone. You make more muscle, then you burn more fat. And when you just do, like what's called the conventional aerobics, they don't do this as efficiently. So you look at the guy that runs, 20 miles a day, he's a big marathoner, the ultra marathoner, there's no body fat on him, etc. Well, what's happening is the body's breaking down. Because what happens, you hear the story all the time, the guy goes out for the run and he drops dead of a heart attack, or he develops cancer or something like that. Getting too much exercise is detrimental to your health. It creates a lot of inflammation, it creates compounds that affect your brain, your heart, etc. So we can actually do too much of it. In high intensity interval training, you only have to do it 15-20 minutes a day for 2 to 3 days a week. Pretty awesome, huh? So how do we do it? Well, what's called a peak 8 exercise, meaning we're going to get your heart rate up to a peak 8 times during that time period. So what you do, warm up for 3 minutes. Let's, if you like to run on the treadmill, to walk on the treadmill for 3 minutes as your warm up. If you like to bike, you'll bike for 3 minutes at a slower pace. Get the blood flowing, whatever it is you like to do. So you got a 3-minute warm up. Then you're going to exercise as hard as you can for 30 seconds. And then recover for 90 seconds. Still moving at a slower pace. So we use a bike as an example. Bike as fast as you can for 30 seconds. For 90 seconds, slow down. Keep biking though. Keep moving. And then you would repeat it for 8 repetitions. So peak 8 exercises. When you start though, you probably won't be able to do 8. So try like 2 or 3. You can do that for several days, for a couple weeks. Work up to maybe 4 to 5 at a time, 6 to 8 at a time. And then a 2-minute cool down, about 50 to 80% of the intensity that you were doing before. And the total investment is about 20 minutes. And that stimulates more human growth hormone, more muscle development, as opposed to you just go and you keep running and running and running and running. So this is kind of what it would look like if you were to chart your heart rate. So it's like you get your heart rate up, then you rest. Heart rate up, rest, etc., etc. So a peak 8 exercise. And then super slow weightlifting. You're going to use muscles that do the exercise and then actually resist on the exercise. So 12 to 15 minutes, done 2 to 3 times a week. So you can actually invest total about 3 to 4 hours a week for your health as opposed to 3 to 4 hours a day like a lot of people think that they have to do. And you can basically say, if you pick like 5 core exercises and working all the parts of your body, you do like a pull down. Or opposite of that would be something like a chin-up. A chest press, preferably with dumbbells as opposed to a straight bar. It's a little better on the shoulders. So a chest press, a compound row, where you're rowing this way, an overhead press, as well as a leg press. You're going to have a machine, push with the legs or do a squat, that type of thing. So how do you do it? You lift the weight slowly and gradually. So it should take you about 7 to 10 seconds to do it. So we use the overhead press as an example. Take the weight, let's say you're going to do like, let's say you usually use like 30-pound weights. Maybe you want to cut it in half, like a 15-pound weight. And it should take you 7 to 10 seconds to get up to that point. Nice and slow. You're gonna feel the burn. Then you come down nice and slow as well. So 7 to 10 seconds per repetition going up and coming back down. You basically repeat it until you're exhausted, where you're like, whew, my shoulders just got a really good workout. And then you, boom, hit the next exercise. So you do then the chest press. Nice and slow, 7 to 10 seconds, coming back. Then you go to the compound row, the overhead press, the leg press. So one right after the other. If you get to like the last one, you're like, I can't quite do it, try to hold it for like 5 seconds and then lower it down as opposed to, I'll just skip that one. And you're basically going to be able to perform about 4 to 8 repetitions of it. It's going to really work your muscles. Make sure you give your body 2 days recovery in between them. You don't want to exercise on top of something which is now trying to heal and repair. People that just cut calories alone lose muscle mass, strength, and aerobic capacity because your metabolism slows down. It's not what you want to do. But daily movement is great for you. Start slow, go at your own pace. Even things, stretching, walking, taking the stairs as opposed to the elevator, doing yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, good, healthy movements. Core exercises, when people go, I'm going to work my core, and they just do a bunch of abs, you have 29 muscles that are part of your core. It's the front, it's the back, it's the glutes, it's the front and backs of the legs. So you want to work all those things. Trips to the refrigerator do not count as movement. Sorry. And then secret 4 is the toxins that your body gets exposed to. Well, it does a pretty good job of cleaning those